I need my freedom.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Valiant Unicorn YouTube channel, where we promote self-love and creativity. And today I have my cousin Emily, second cousins 3 different ways, and then first cousins one way.
Yes.
I know it's hard to follow.
We're super cousins.
Is it cold in here? Do you need a blanket?
No, I'm okay. I just get chills and a little shake. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've been doing the monthly unicorn behind the scenes, and I chose Emily to be the last month's monthly unicorn.
July,
and it's
yeah.
also like an invitation to share on my channel anything you'd want to share. You were a part of the co-op.
Yeah.
Would you mind explaining what the co-op is?
Davis County Cooperative, that is AKA the Kingston Clan, AKA the Order, AKA all of their other names.
Yeah, there's a couple.
LDCC, Latter-day Church of Christ. Yeah.
I don't even know all the names,
Yeah.
to be honest.
There's a few different names.
Yeah. So what companies did you work for while you was there?
I helped my grandma at family stores a couple of times. We cut grease rags for the shop at the mine.
Okay.
So when I was old enough to handle a pair of scissors, we were cutting up clothes so that the guys would have stuff to wipe their hands and face on.
Yeah.
When they were working, we would save the buttons and all that. It was always it was exciting when you got old enough to do that. So as soon as I could safely and sometimes not safely handle scissors, I was doing that. And then when I was 8, I was working at the shower house.
Oh, didn't we call it the bathhouse? But we know
Yeah.
now not to call it that because...
That sounds a little gay.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit risky. Like I told someone, because that was my terminology,
Yeah.
we grew up calling it the bathhouse.
Yeah.
And then I was actually getting a Brazilian wax this week, and I'm way oversharing right now, but the guy, I was like, because he's also gay.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, I told him about you, and that I was going to talk to him about how you clean the bathhouse, and he's like a real bathhouse? Like,
Kind
I was
of.
like, well, oh, no. When I say the bathhouse, I'm talking about the shower, the locker room at the coal mine, and yeah.
But you've been there, so you know how it was all set up.
Yeah, it didn't have, at least when you were that age, it did not have dividers for showers.
There were 2 dividers in the bathroom, and there was the urinal, and then the 2 toilets that were stalled off, but that was it.
Yeah, and then the communal showers.
Yeah.
So you probably walked in at a young age and seen things that you probably shouldn't have seen.
They would come out of the shower and go to get ready and stuff, and we'd have to hurry and look away, and my dad actually ended up talking to him
about it.
about you can't do that when my girls are here.
Uh-huh.
And especially to the outsider minors,
Yeah.
because the order likes to hire undocumented people.
Yeah.
Because they can pay them
Less
a lot less, but they still pay them more than the order
people, especially the Hansons. Undocumented workers.
Yeah.
My uncles were being paid less than them because
they were building up the kingdom of
yeah.
God.
I wanted to
So
talk
the
about.
shower house.
Yeah. So your dad did talk to them.
Yeah, and he would tell them, they're just girls, and they were like, well, this is what we do at home, and he would say, please don't do that around my daughters.
Okay.
And so we did use this orange dust, and we spread it all over the floor.
To clean it?
That it would make the dust calm, so when you were sweeping, the dust wouldn't get everywhere.
Oh, that's cool.
But I wonder what exactly that was, and if that itself was safe.
Yeah.
Because you would breathe that in,
Okay.
and it would get really irritating. So I don't know what it was, but yeah.
I didn't know there was a cool thing like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But so what other jobs you worked at the shower house, and then family stores? Was
I
it
babysat a lot.
okay?
So it was cutting grease rags, it was cleaning the shower house, it was babysitting, and not just 1 or 2 kids, quite a few kids. And I was 14 when we left. I started doing a little bit of office work.
Before you got sick?
Yeah. And then I got sick.
And when you got sick, they didn't really take you to the hospital.
My parents did.
Oh, they did.
So
Good.
a lot of people were telling them that they needed to get Paul's permission before they took me, though.
Oh.
So I have an inoperable brain tumor in my brainstem that caused something called hydrocephalus, and that's where the fluid doesn't drain out of your brain. And at that point, it was I was going into a semi-comatose state. I would wake up in the middle of the night and vomit in the compost heap because I didn't want to bug anybody. I would take my sister out with me because it was dark and scary sometimes. And so my mom took me to the eye doctor, and they found swelling on my optic nerve and said I needed emergency brain surgery. And they sent me up to get an MRI. So I'm coming from Huntington to Salt Lake, which is a 3.5 hour drive. And I needed an MRI the next day and then surgery shortly after that. And so my parents just went ahead with the doctors. And everybody was telling them that the doctors lie and they make stuff up and that they needed to ask Paul's permission before they got me treatment. But the doctors are telling them if you don't, she's going to die.
Yeah.
So they went ahead with treatment, and then they talked to Paul after I was stable.
You did an interview with Amanda, so I'll leave a link to that below. And then also was it a movie? I can leave a link for that down below too. For everyone else.
I got somebody involved with me, and she helped me record a documentary. I shaved my head because I wanted to see all the trauma my skull has been through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many brain surgeries I've had, and I wanted to see what the scars looked like. I have dents in my head from the shunts and all that stuff. And so she helped me make a documentary, and she made it into this incredible movie, and I sent it to you.
Yeah.
It actually won awards.
Oh, wow.
It won Best Documentary, something like that, in an Oregon Film Festival, and it won another award in India. So we're international.
Wow.
I know.
I can't wait to watch it because I actually haven't seen it. And do you care if I put that in there?
Absolutely. Because my whole goal for all of this is to raise awareness about hydrocephalus.
Okay.
So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Then I'll leave that in the link.
I'm excited.
Down below too. So I already asked if you're part of the Davis Garden Co-op and then how you would describe that. Did you have to sign anything to leave?
I didn't, but they tried to have my dad sign something and he refused to.
Did he ever have to sign anything? Or did he pissed him off enough and they just like give him his money and let him go?
Well, we blackmailed him a little bit.
I know your story, but
yeah,
I'll let you tell it. It's funny.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, so from my perspective, and
You was 14.
Me. I was 14, all of us in here. I was 14 when we left. So my dad they'd made the decision to leave. I think my dad was asking a lot of questions at the mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so they fired him from the mine. And then after that, he started selling fruit with an uncle and made quite a bit more than he ever did at the mine. And was able to,
That's insane.
Right? Selling fruit door to door.
Versus going underground, like risking your life.
He was also a foreman. He was the union president, and he had been there for over 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
And he made more money selling fruit door to door.
Wow. That doesn't make any kind of sense.
Yeah. Well, he's building up the kingdom of God.
Oh, don't even with that.
Just
kidding. I mean,
that bitch charges a fee.
So, I'm not disgruntled about working so young. I feel like I should have been paid for that though. Yeah. And how do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I feel like, so I used to sing. Mm-hmm. And I won a couple competitions and won some money doing that. And so my mom turned that money in, and that is actually what I left with. Okay. And so it was a couple $100 from that. And I worked quite a bit more, and so I was like, what?
Where's the rest? Yeah. Because you're like, yeah.
Yeah, so working for maybe 8 years of my life at that point.
Yeah, and not having anything.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to make sense to me.
I am more disgruntled for my dad and my mom because they don't have a retirement. They gave their whole retirement to the order.
And all their time for the time that they were there.
Yes, and like my dad should be sitting at home resting, but instead he's working still because the order took all of his retirement. Didn't give him anything. And the government keeps pushing back the retirement age.
Yeah.
And so, like, he gets right there, and then they're like, nope, just a little bit older, so he is just crawling to retirement.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. So he didn't leave with a lot of his stuff.
He left with what was in his account.
At the time.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count all the times he worked for free.
No.
Yeah.
No, and then whatever secret account was, you know, whatever that had on it.
And see, that's what I'm hoping that we change. If we can push a little bit of change on the co-op is you guys have a lot of resources. Use those resources to take care of the people that are there.
Well, we know that with elderly abuse, we know they take Social Security checks.
Yeah.
We know they're not using those on the people who are getting them.
Well, they'll even take like, you know, FAFSA.
Yeah.
From the younger people going to college. They'll be like, you need to bring these checks because it's not all of that's for you.
It. Ew, yes it is.
Yeah.
Ew, that's so awful.
So they'll let them take whatever they need for their classes.
Whatever they think they need.
Whatever on paper. Whatever. Yeah. They make the rules.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense. Sorry. Well, obviously, I'm upset about it.
I mean, it's so, like, I hold grudges, yes, and that's what we're doing here is we're talking about this shit so that somebody will do something.
Well, yeah, I want to see change because there's, like, I probably said it once before, but people there are family, and I wish the best for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like seeing other people being taken advantage of.
No.
I did not appreciate being taken advantage of myself. Working, however, I didn't mind. I could work. That's fine.
Yeah.
But that should have gone to some kind of savings account, some kind of like effort to make so I didn't eat food out of the dumpsters.
Right.
Something.
Because Paul and Daniel are eating at steakhouses and
wherever they want with the money that was supposed to be partly mine.
Right. That you earned.
Yeah.
With your blood, sweat, and tears, literally. But the story, going back, so we were able to go to public school down at the mine, and the way the bus came is my family got picked up first, and then we went in this loop up Trail Canyon, and then down, and then it drove a little bit, went up Bear Canyon, came down, and then we drove for about 15 minutes before we started picking up outside kids.
Okay.
So they fired my dad from the mine, and so my dad's like, well, give me my money. Give, all the kids money. We want it all. Give me the money for the trailer that we bought. And he, added on to it, so made it more valuable. And he kept trying to get a meeting with Paul. Mm-hmm. Paul kept blowing him off. And so then, Paul made it against the rules to go to school dances when he came into power. Yeah. Paul went to school dances. Paul went on dates. Paul and Daniel dated girls.
That's ironic because it's against the order standards today.
It is. You're not even supposed to be alone. This is not allowed, what we're doing now.
Yeah, this is so not allowed.
No. Even though we're super cousins.
Yeah, cousins. We're second cousins 3 times.
Through our moms, dads, and grandparents.
And then we're first cousins through
our dads.
Yeah.
So it's like foiling the math problems when you're going first, outer, inner, last.
Yeah, I'm even confused by it. I had to call my mom to be like, how exactly are we related?
Help.
And she over explained.
No, we're both feeling a little uncomfortable. But it's fine.
Yeah.
But so he made it against the rules to go to school dances when he came into power, but he actually took my mom to a school dance.
Oh, interesting.
And insisted on getting pictures at the time. And my dad says that all the guys had a crush on her when she was younger, and so they had liked each other since they were 13 or 14, but then Paul went after her for a little bit, and I think even Daniel had a crush on her at one point and all of that stuff.
Oh, wow.
And
then they went on real dates back then when they were going forward and whatever.
They would, he was fine to do that. Nobody else can do that.
Can do that. Oh,
So,
interesting.
we had all of this. Plus, my dad had grown up with him. They were actually best friends growing up.
So they knew a lot.
They knew everything.
Yeah.
They stole cigarettes and sold them.
Oh, that makes sense.
And alcohol. And
oh my gosh, I have a story for that. I'll have to tell it. Well, like, I used to sell cigarettes when I went to Job Corps, but
yeah,
I don't know.
You know, something.
It runs in the family, I guess.
It can happen. Teenage boys do that. But so they had a history together. They knew a lot about each other. Like, they were best friends growing up, and actually hurt my dad a lot that Paul didn't see his kids as family.
Oh, wow.
And because, Paul couldn't be bothered to get to know his brother's kids.
Yes.
If you have 100 of your own,
Yeah, he's got.
You don't have time for
at least that.
At least 100. If we're using math, then it's significantly more. But
yeah.
So they know all of this about Paul, and Paul insisted on getting this picture with my mom. And
so your mom had the picture then?
And it was in her purse and just this wallet sized. She just had it in there. And when Paul made it against the rules to go to school dances, she went to the office to get some money, and the lady at the office at the time, she asked my mom what she thought about the new rule, and my mom said, I think it's ridiculous. Paul went to a school dance, or Paul went to dances.
Yeah.
And she said, you liar, he did not. And the whole time she's got this picture in her purse. She got super offended by my mom saying that, though. Mm-hmm. So my mom was like, oh, dang. So then they're trying to get a hold of Paul to get the money so that they can start a life, because they have 10 kids, and so they need to get a house. They need to get, they need to do things. And Paul's blowing him off, and so my mom remembers this picture. And so they take the picture, and it was just a wallet size, but they blew it up into a 5x7. Made a bunch of copies, wrote on the back of all the copies, could Paul be the leader of the order today if he broke any order standards. And then it had 1 through 10, and on number 1 it said go to a public school dance and the year that they went and the high school they went to.
I mean, that's not necessarily blackmailing if you're already given the information out.
But then 2 through 10 had question marks.
Oh, I see. So there was more that you just didn't like.
So we were going to reveal a new thing every week.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So how far did they get? Just the first one?
So my parents hand us the pictures, and they're like, you need to hand these out to all the order kids. So I was like, okay. So I was the oldest one who took the pictures at the time. And I was 14. And so I'm bringing it to my younger siblings, and I was like, okay, we're going to pass these out. Make sure every single order person gets one. And they're like, well, what if they don't want it? And I was like, just let me know and I'll handle it. So we're passing them out in that little period we have before any of the outside kids come
on the school bus.
Yeah. And so I get to this one kid. I could tell you the name after.
No, I think I might know. Because I know our ages.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like...
He was the one just younger than me.
Okay.
So I'm handing it to him, and he goes, what is this? And I was like, oh, it's just a picture of Paul. Bring it home, show your parents. They're going to love it. So he looks at it, and then he flips it over, and he's like, I'm not taking this. And he tries to shove it back at me, and I said, okay, I'm going to leave this right here on the seat next to you. I'm not going to touch it again. If you leave it here,
other people are going to see it.
Lana's going to see it. All the kids who get on the bus from the outside are going to see it, and this is your fault, not mine. And so he grabbed it and shoved it in his backpack. We did that, I think, on a Thursday or Friday. Mm-hmm. Monday, Paul was calling my dad saying, hey, I heard you were trying to get a hold of me.
Oh, now.
So then we got the money. Yeah.
Was it pretty quick after that then?
Very quick.
Wow. Because that's kind of, my story is similar. Once Paul got involved and didn't want me there anymore.
Yeah.
It was just like, come get your check. We're done.
Right. But how stupid that him going to a dance undid it all.
I mean, they got a reputation to uphold.
Well, and if he broke any of the order standards, how could he be the leader of the order?
And how can he manipulate all of his kids to continue with that?
But that is just ridiculous. That's just a normal thing that teenagers do. You're fine.
Well, at least you guys didn't have to sign anything. You got out of there.
I know. Well, they tried to make him, and he refused, and they were like, we're not going to give you anything. And maybe that was how he responded. I'm not sure, but... yeah.
Yeah, because when with me they got me to basically, well, they tried to get me to sign a disclosure agreement saying I would never talk about them.
Yeah.
I'd never sue them for anything they have done or anything they will do, and some other ridiculous things.
Yeah.
But I had to like, no, I'm not signing that. But I did sign something.
Yeah.
But it was more just you don't owe me money, I don't owe you money.
Yeah.
But
they tried to do that. He wouldn't go after them for back pay, and he did try, but they are so allegedly entrenched with Utah's government that was really hard to do.
yeah, and it would be really hard because
Enmeshed.
yeah, he was already paid something, so
Yeah.
just not hardly anything for the
Right.
job.
Yeah,
That's insane, though.
it is.
How old was he when he left? Do you remember?
They were in their 40s. So,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's hard. I feel
Yeah.
like it's harder to leave
The
the
older.
older, and it's harder to adapt into the like
They
mainstream society.
Completely flipped their whole lives
Wow.
in their 40s. Yeah.
That's honestly impressive.
It's amazing.
Well, thanks everyone for watching, and if you could nominate anyone to be a Valiant Unicorn, who would you pick?